everybody, and welcome back to the MXGP of Flanders, Belgium, round 15 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, a Grand Prix that has the makings of a fascinating contest between the top two in the championship, and with just 10 points between Romain Febvre and Lucas Coenen as we arrived here on the start of the weekend. You won't want to take your eyes off this battle this weekend because both are equally competent in the sand, but with two victories around here in recent years, does that make Febvre the odds-on favourite here today? Well, your guess is as good as ours. Either way, we might be in for a real treat. Round 15 of 20 could be a memorable one here at Lommel Wood. My name's Paul Malin, Jason Thomas alongside me, Fly Racing, and Jason Thomas. It does have the makings of being a fascinating Grand Prix, doesn't it, this weekend, especially after what we saw in the qualifying race yesterday. Doesn't matter what we say about that now, because we're going to see the highlights in a minute anyway, but Lucas Coenen and Romain Febvre, the top two so far this weekend.
Yeah, they've really been the class of the field, and it's been that way for a while now. You know, we have this championship fight at the top, and they have seemed to separate themselves each and every weekend, regardless of the terrain or the continent or the country.
Well, the racetrack there, that's the view from above. Some of the workshops from the teams are over on that industrial estate over there. I won't say exactly where, but some of you diehards will probably already know where they are. But just 1.85 metre, 1.85 kilometres long, 1.1 miles, the racetrack here, 75 metres into turn one. The new configuration sort of between sector 2 and 3, so 2 continuing around the left, following the arrows. Where those, it's waves, actually not double and a tabletop. Before we used to sort of continue out of that bottom left into this long sweeping corner at the bottom here, but we go sort of pretty much left, right, left towards the end of zone 3, sector 3, and then into that around the pond before heading down past pit lane. So that's the real change for the first time in a couple of years, actually, but you know what, it's probably opened up the track a little bit more, it's more flowing. Certainly that's what Lucas Coenen said to us anyway. But yeah, great atmosphere, Jason.
It is. This is, I think, the networking GP of the calendar. And we had great turnout on Saturday, even bigger turnout on Sunday. And I think the reputation is really leading up to what you would expect for this event.
Well, before we go anywhere, let's take a look behind the scenes. We caught up with TM earlier this weekend.
Julius Mikula is a young Czech rider that had a really good track record, in fact, in the EMX 125 class. He scored a race win, he had podium finishes, and he decided to jump straight to the MX2 class and skip the EMX 250s. This year, he signed with the factory TM CRD Motorsport team, and to be a factory rider for him has definitely been a bit of an eye-opener. It's been a transition period, but for a young rider, he's definitely handled the pressure well.
I skipped MX 250 EMX. TM contacted us some years before, also for 125. This year was the best choice to do. This happened a little bit when I get injured after the Locket last year. So my manager right here and spoke with them here, and we decided to go to TM.
Siamo un'azienda piccolissima che poi è stimata in tutto il mondo, è fatta di persone che si vogliono bene, che lavorano con armonia, con amore e producono queste straordinarie moto. Siamo gli unici al mondo a fare l'87% della moto e di questo ne andiamo fieri, molto fieri. La nostra prerogativa sono le piccole cilindrate. Sicuramente puntiamo tanto sulla nostra 125 e sulla 250 quattro tempi.
Yeah, and you can see that's just a snippet of the report from episode 15 of Behind the Gate, The Pendulum. That'll be out Monday night, Tuesday morning. Of course, that'll be on our online platform. But great to see Julius Mikkola in there in MX2 and TM as well, adding to the list of manufacturers in MXGP. Right, let's go down to Lisa. She caught up with Marvin van Lutsen, a sidecar world champion, and Brian Bogers. But it's let's go sidecars first, shall we?
So we're almost ready for the first MXGP race of the day, but let's grab a few words with a special guest we have here on the start. It's Marvin van Lutsen. Marvin, slightly different sport to what you're used to being here at MXGP, but how's your weekend going so far?
Yeah, very nice. It's always nice to be here in Belgium GP to watch the top rider, and for sure we have a lot of Belgian top riders, so yeah, nice to be here now when we have time.
Now, you're from Belgium. We're here in Lommel, which is very much the heart of the motocross scene. What is it about motocross that the Belgian people just love so much?
Yeah, you know, we have almost one track in Belgium, so I think everyone loves Lommel, for sure, the solo riders. So yeah, I think they show it with the speed they have, and yeah, nice to be here.
Okay. Now, I did see you cheering someone on earlier. Who are you supporting this weekend?
For sure, the Coenen brothers. Yeah, we need to do, and all Belgian riders, also the young guys. So yeah, we are here for all the Belgian, but for all the riders, a lot of respect.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you.
Okay, now I have to speak to this rider from Fantic Factory Racing. It's Brian Bogers, because, Brian, I know you have fond memories coming back here. You picked up your only overall Grand Prix victory here in 2022. That was a special day, because actually, even then, I don't think you were expecting it, were you?
No, actually the season went pretty well back then, but still to win is a different story, you know. But I believe that tough conditions are for tough people, and I think I'm one of them. So every time, you know, when it's tough out there, I do well. So except yesterday was not that good. I struggled a little bit with the bike setup, but I think it's fixed now, and I'm ready to go.
What is it about this track here in Lommel that is so difficult? Why do people describe it as the toughest motocross track in the world?
Well, I think also, of course, many riders live nearby here, and we can train here 4 or 5 days a week. But still, when you come at a race, it's a complete different track. So I think this makes it the toughest, you know, because you prepare for something what you can't prepare for. So you know, so I think that's special.
Well, enjoy it. Well, try to.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a lot. Thank you, Brian. Okay, good luck to the guys here. It's time for the first MXGP race.
Yeah, he's got a good point there, Brian Bogers, actually, because you can train and train and train, prepare for this Grand Prix, but the reality is when you come here during the week, the circuit is completely different. It's not built up like it is now, so it's not as deep as it is now. It's still deep, but the jumps aren't as pointed as they are and things like that, and all the lines are completely different. So you get here and all of a sudden it's like, okay, yeah, now we're, welcome to hell. We're here in Lommel.
Yep, and there's a saying in the U.S. that basically it amounts to a kind of embrace the suffering, right? And everybody's going to suffer. It's going to be really hard for everybody, but your attitude, and if you try to lean into it, can make a big difference on a really hard day.
Yeah, well, let's maybe see if we can check in what happened with the qualifying race yesterday. Here's the highlights of that first race. Clouds are just dipping in at the moment, breeze picking up. But here's what happened. Qualifying race, Jeffrey Hurling's back after that broken collarbone injury about 4.5 weeks ago, chose not to have surgery on it, so the healing process, rode the bike a couple times this week, leading in Wednesday and Thursday, but it was Isaac Gifting and Calvin Verlanderen who duked it over the line. Looked like it might have just been Verlanderen on the exit there, but he wasn't taking no for an answer, Gifting, and he muscled the South African to the outside. That brought in Jago Kiets. Kiets was looking good early on.
Yeah, and see three Yamahas there on the start. That was a great start by Jago that we had the GoPro footage of. But just kind of watching this race unfold yesterday, and I got to talk to Lucas after the race and then again last night. And you know, the key word is patience. I think he understands that his pace is really good. His starts are really good, so he can let the race unfold. He doesn't have to force things, even though you see him get unintentionally aggressive with Jago there. I think who remains patient with pace today is going to do well.
Yeah, and obviously those two passes there quickly got him up into third place. He then went after Verlanderen. A little bit frantic further down, though. Quentin Prunier, Jeremy Seewer here, Kevin Brumman, and number 70, Ruben Fernandez. They were all right in the thick of it. This was Flanders getting past, and this was how close the top three were, because they'd all caught Isaac Gifting. Gifting on the JK Racing Yamaha, doing a fantastic job. But Fernandez,
yeah, we were wondering
just
what
bowled
happened
in
to
the
him
front.
yesterday.
Yeah, he eventually came home, buried down in 23rd place. But Coenen capitalised on a slight mistake there from Gifting. Romain Febvre, we haven't mentioned the championship leader yet. He didn't make the best start, but he eventually got himself alongside Gifting to move into third. And then he got around the outside of Flanders to take second. That was just with about 4 laps to go. He did have a go at whittling down that 8-second gap, got it down to about 3 seconds, but then realised, you know what, save it all for Sunday. Lucas Coenen went on to win the qualifying race for the 6th time from Febvre, Flanders, Gifting, Coenen and Geerts. Good ride for Brent van Donnik on the JM Honda as well. So the points was, what, 10 points coming in this weekend. It's now 9 after that qualifying race victory from Lucas Coenen, but it's Febvre who continues to lead. Glenn Coenen, well, he's in third, and he's now pulled 49 points clear of Ruben Fernandez, who in turn is more than 50 points clear of Flanders. But Bonacorsi just 27 points behind the number 10 on the Yamaha. 5 back is Maxime Renault, he's also back this weekend. And Jeffrey Hurling's now the same points as Jeremy Seewer after picking up points in the qualifying race. Hurling's in 9th. What do we read into that? I saw in his Insta post that he just said didn't have the power in the right arm, but we go again tomorrow kind of thing. But he did set the fastest time in warm-up this morning.
Yeah, and when you only ride twice coming off an injury, I don't think you can expect too much. Even though it is Jeffrey Hurling's at Lommel, there is that factor to it, but I think he did it the right way. Don't expect too much. Don't override the situation, and just simply allow whatever comes to happen, because if you try to push past that, something bad is likely to happen.
Yeah, these are the gate positions, by the way, so where they finished in the qualifying race, that's how they go to the line. And Coenen will go on pole from Febvre, Flanders, Gifting, Coenen, Geerts will go to line 6, Van Donnik 7, Bonacorsi 8, Hurling's 9, Håkan Fredriksson 10. What a great ride that was for him. First ride this year in MXGP. And then the rest, Renault, Watson, Bogas, Van der Moostijk, Kevin Brumman, Max Spies, Jan Panzer, Adam Sterry, and everybody else, as you can see there. But in morning warm-up this morning, Jeffrey Hurling's right on the on his final lap, went about half a second quicker than Flanders. Bogas was third, Bonacorsi, Febvre, Fredriksson and Coenen. Lucas Coenen strikes first this weekend in this MXGP of Flanders with victory in the qualifying race over Romain Febvre. But it's the championship leader, Febvre, who holds a 9-point advantage going into race 1 here on Sunday. Will it be Coenen or Febvre, or maybe even Flanders that gets the nod and comes away with a victory in race 1? Crazy things have happened, but Isaac Gifting could also come away with a first victory in MXGP as well. He's riding that good at the moment, and Glenn Coenen, you can't write off him the 259 either. But what a great day Gifting had yesterday, and he'll be hoping for another good start today. Jason.
Yeah, the start's going to be really important in this class. I just think there are going to be several riders going the same pace, so getting up there early is going to help quite a bit.
Jargo Geerts lives about 10 minutes away from here, grew up literally in that same village. The monster on his Yamaha factory MXGP rider had a steady ride yesterday, 6th in the qualifying race. 6th gate pick for him. He would just love to have a good, solid weekend here at home. He's had a 6th overall so far in Latvia. He'd love to go 1 or 2 places better than that. And Glenn Coenen, almost 50 points clear of Ruben Fernandez now after the quali race yesterday. So he's now going to be focusing on just maintaining that advantage over Ruben Fernandez. He already has the advantage because he's over on the left side of the box. Fernandez is going to be all the way over, look, 3-4 gates over on the right-hand side, the number 70, just looking back there. And you don't want to be on the outside, especially when there's a domino effect and people start to push wide, but you never know, you might get caught up in it. But we'll see how this one pans out. The MXGP race 1, 30 minutes plus 2 laps. And we're at the MXGP of Flanders here at Lommel. Green flags here at the back, green flags down here with our race director, the Fly Racing 15-second board up for this first MXGP race. Who are you going to put your money on? The 2-time winner, Romain Febvre, or the rookie to the class, Lucas Coenen? What about that man right there, Jeffrey Hurlings? Will he pull something out of the bag here when it matters? Gates drop. Bit of bar banging, and Coenen gets left behind. Febvre up the inside. And riders do go wide. Fernandez was one of those guys, but it's Febvre who leads coming into turn 2. Gifting there behind him in second. Hurling's in third. And Van Donnik in 4th place on the 32. Then in the middle in yellow, we've got Jago Geerts. And Flanders here to the outside as well. Coenen trying to sneak around the inside on the 96, emerges in 5th place.
Yeah, that was really...
And Fernandez out already.
Yeah, we could see that coming from the, kind of the outside. It was going to be a tough start, but great start from Febvre. That's exactly what he needed to do, and I think it was great damage control from Coenen also moving up quickly.
Hurling's into second.
Yeah, and I think for Jeffrey here, he's just got to try to latch onto the back, right? He's rusty, but I think he has to try to get onto the pace early. He didn't have the pace yesterday. He steadily went backwards. Try to find Febvre's pace, try to get that muscle memory going, and if you get tired later, that's okay, but I think showing some flash will be great for his confidence.
Well, Gifting, we know he's not one to take no for an answer. He's going to try and stay ahead of Lucas Coenen. Doesn't care about the championship title race. He's here just trying to get as best results as possible. He goes to the outside. Coenen goes to the inside. It's a drag race on the exit. Deja vu for these two on this part of the track yesterday, because that's where Coenen found his way into the lead in the qualifying race. Hurling's just there ahead of them. And this is the problem for Hurlings. When you've not been on a bike for 4 or 5 weeks, that sprint pace at the start of the race is what's missing. So he's going to try and nurse his way into this, ease his way into this race. But the guys behind him, they don't care. They're just a bunch of axe murderers just ready to be unleashed and go for broke on this opening lap.
Yeah, no disrespect to Gifting, but Coenen does not want to be stuck behind him. I think he would be okay sitting behind Jeffrey this early, Febvre just ahead, but he does not want to be behind Gifting for long.
The interesting thing in the qualifying race, though, both Coenen and Febvre looked very, very comfortable. Coenen looking good here as well as he charges around the inside, dances past Gifting side by side as they launch the wall jump. Off balance there for the 96. Gifting tried to lean on him. Coenen, speedway style, back onto the start straight to make sure he made that pass for third stick, and it did. Hurlings looks behind him as well.
Yeah, you can see how, Gifting's a fighter. He doesn't give position to anyone, but Coenen is probably in the air going, come on, man, I'm going to beat you anyway, just let me go by.
Tried to get a bike length on him there, look, but even though he was off balance, and you see Gifting trying to lean on him, you know what, had he hit the brakes just a little bit earlier, he might have been able to go tight back and tight, double cut back through the first, the next couple of corners. Right, interesting battle here then between the 84 Red Bull KTM and the other Red Bull KTM on the other side from Italy. The number 96, Lucas Coenen. Febvre, 2.5 seconds clear at the moment. There he is, dancing around that right-hander, turn 7. Gifting, Flanders well placed in 6th place. Where's Van Donnik? Van Donnik was in there, wasn't he, a minute ago? Has he gone missing? Yeah, because there's Coenen in 3rd, Gifting, Flanders in 5, Van Donnik 6, then Renault.
Yeah, and I mentioned off the, just before we started how important patience would be. And I think for Lucas, he has to remain patient. He can see Romain Febvre, that's really the only person in the race that really matters. So there's really no reason to get crazy here. If the pass happens quickly, that's okay. But the race is going to be decided in the last 10 minutes. That's how Lommel works out. We saw Jeffrey close on Jorge Prado a year ago, multiple seconds per lap, and it's going to be the same this year. So,
but the difference then was Hurlings was in the championship at that point as well, like not missing rounds, not missing races. But here, he's coming back from a broken collarbone, didn't have surgery on it. The old Jeffrey would have, but there were complications around the injury where it was broken. There was a pin, a plate already attached, and things like that. So, just chose to let it heal naturally, which is not ideal, Neil. But you know what? It is what it is, and he's here 2nd at the moment, but the fans urging on. Coenen, he's got a nice line through there, and he's going to get the distance on Hurlings, finds his way into 2nd, and now he focuses on the clear track ahead of him and goes after Romain Febvre, the top 2 in the championship, 1st and 2nd, are 1st and 2nd in the race. We'll see what the gap is when they get over the line. It was 3 seconds at the last split, but you sense from that camera angle, it's not 3 seconds just there. As we watch the replay here, the gap is now 2.8. That's the advantage when you've got 2 strong collarbones. You can go for stuff like that, whereas Hurlings can't.
Yeah, it's just it's pain tolerance and strength. It's all the things that Jeffrey will have and wish he has. And you see team coordinator Nicole there, very, very happy with the pass. But this is what we expected. We thought these 2 would be out front. I thought maybe it would take longer than 5 minutes in to get these 2 separating, but here we are.
Well, as we continue to follow this battle, Febvre disappearing there around the corner, but he's still hovering around about 3.3 seconds clear of Coenen. Hurling's next, and obviously with 2 Red Bull KTMs there in those 2 second and third places. Let's go down to Lisa. She's with Dirk Grubel, former technical director down at KTM. Let's hear what he has to say. He's with Lisa.
Dirk Grubel, firstly, it's great to have you back in the paddock, but we want to speak a little bit about Jeffrey. Firstly, how was he feeling coming into this weekend after his injury?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, he had some little sessions this week, trying out how the collarbone feels in the overall body. I mean, he's been sidelined quite a couple of weeks now again, of course, unfortunately. But he felt quite good. He knows the track inside out, I think, and gives it a try. And I think he has a lot of kilometers here. And his home expectations, a lot of a good crowd here, and maybe, I don't know, maybe he can finish top 5 if the body gives it, but you know him, he gives always 100%, and he will go for it.
I mean, we saw that last year with Jorge Prado. That's some of the best racing we've ever saw from him. Is that one of the reasons he decided to come back here in the sand to put on that show?
Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, it's nearly his home track, and he knows his way around. There's nothing new to him, really. It's easy to make a comeback on a track you know. You know, if it's a flyaway you've never been, then you probably need to rethink it twice and consider it new. But like here, yeah, it's just in your backyard and you go for it.
Best of luck to the team. Thank you, Dirk.
Yeah, Hurling's there in third place. Gifting here in white is next in 4th. Flanders, the number 10. The factory Yamaha going after the private JK Racing machine. Fantastic start for Gifting. You know, he was good in the time practice. He led a couple of laps yesterday. 6 out of the 12, so half the race in the qualifying race, buoyed by confidence. Gets through this one, he's going to be absolutely on fire, ready for his home Grand Prix in Sweden 2 weeks from now, because we have a break after this one. But he really is starting to come good, isn't he?
Yeah, his pace is really good. Starts, if you have great starts and great pace, things are going to go pretty well for you. I think he's still kind of learning the nuance of racing at the front in MXGP, but you know, we've seen flashes over the years, and we've seen a lot more of it this weekend. And that was a perfect representation. Like, he gives no one any quarter. He does not care if you're trying to pass, what your name is, what position you're in. He's going to fight you.
He'll fight for every point, and one rider fighting for every point is Lucas Coenen. Coenen all over the back of Romain Febvre now. Top 2, pretty much line astern. Coenen at home in Belgium, and he knows it as well. Every inch of the way around this racetrack, the fans are on their feet for the number 96.
Yeah, I just wonder how quickly he wants to make this pass. Is he going to be content to sit here, kind of suss him out, find a place to pass, or is he just, now that he's gotten there, try to go for it?
Well, that's it. He can make a decision based on that, can't he? Well, do I need to make the pass now? Because if he does, what's the response going to be from Febvre? And does he put himself under pressure by leading then, thinking I've got to escape and then make that mistake, you know? Sometimes it's easier to follow than it is to lead, as long as you're not eating too much roost and keep the pressure on the number 3. The problem with that is sometimes you settle down to their pace, and then that becomes difficult to just pick it up when you need to.
Yeah, and unless, you know, if I'm Lucas, unless I think that I can get by him and build a significant gap, I would be thinking conserve energy here, because I think the last 3 or 4 laps, there's going to be a burst from someone to try to close this thing out. So you don't want to push too hard now and then have nothing left when it really counts.
Well, as we said at the top of the broadcast when we opened the show, it's going to be a fascinating contest between these two. You've got a 2-time winner around here, Romain Febvre. You've got a rookie who's been on the podium here. Certainly showed some pace around here as well in MX2 days. But the home crowd, does it help him? Does it hinder him? Well, at the moment, it's helping him. He's there in second. He's whittled down that gap to nothing. So he's going to want to sort of flex himself here.
Yeah, and I think you have to know yourself a little bit. You have to know your fitness level, you know, and that takes some self-reflection. You have to be honest with yourself and say, I can't go flat out the whole time. So if I'm able to take a breather now and sit behind him and rest, that's what's best for me. But you know, when Jeffrey's peak fitness, we've seen the strongest guys, they can just go flat out the whole time. So I think understanding where you are in your fitness is really, really important, especially at this race.
Big Grand Prix this weekend, a lot of industry people here, a lot of fans as well, the mecca of motocross. It's a big weekend for these two as well, Febvre and Coenen, as they continue to fight at the top of the championship. They continue to fight over first place in race 1. There's absolutely nothing in it. Febvre, the championship leader at the moment, but if he leaves the door open, Coenen's going to come flying through. He's going to get outside, inside, in the next couple of corners, and Coenen,
full commitment there from Febvre.
Almost coming together, but Febvre not preparing to give an inch. He's got his gifting head on.
You know,
listen to the atmosphere here.
Yeah.
Absolutely unreal.
That takes so much mental fortitude to come in from the outside fully committed right there. And then I think there's trust. Like, you have to trust the rider you're racing with. But yeah, you know, it's really hard to see from that angle. But Lucas, if he wanted to, could punt him 3, you know, berms deep there.
Yeah. Interesting messages down there on pit lane, basically telling Febvre to dance, jump the bumps, KTM, breathe and pass.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is where, you know, I think that stuff comes naturally to Belgian-born riders, Dutch riders. They hop and jump, and that's what Lucas does extremely well. But I think reminding Romain of those things too is like, find the form, try to ride the track the way it's meant to be ridden.
Like he was in the qualifying race on Saturday, for instance, because he was doing that and it was working for him. He just didn't have the best start, that was all. Either way, though, I mean, we can't take our eyes off this. You guys at home probably can't either. Coenen looking like he's just taking a breather here, because that was a big effort to sort of close down and make the pass that didn't happen. He's now probably just gone, you know what, back to the drawing board, regroup. Can't afford to switch off, though, because Hurling's all of a sudden is only 3.5 seconds behind. So mentally, has he gone too early and just blown his race apart here, or is it a breather? We don't know, but we will see as this race unfolds. And we'll know as soon as he starts looking over if he's concerned about Jeffrey or not.
Yeah, and I think it's just kind of like a barrage, right? I was talking about that burst that'll happen at the end. You can't just typically go flat sprint the entire race. You have to manage your energy, and it's almost like an F1 battery getting built up, and then you can use it all at once. That's kind of how you have to attack these type of races. And so I think you're spot on, where Lucas is now regrouping, lowering his heart rate, catching his breath, and then I think you'll see him make another push.
Isaac Gifting, one of the true characters of our sport at the moment. The MXGP rider coming into a rich vein of form. And he's looking at Jeffrey Hurlings, thinking, I'm battling Jeffrey Hurlings in the sand. He did it earlier in the year. And he doesn't mind that he's coming back from injury. For him, that's just like another feather in the cap, potentially, where he can just say, yep, this is what I did. I chased him, I followed him, I closed him down. Okay, might not have beat him. He might beat him.
You know he wants to pass him.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because if you're Isaac, you're thinking, even though Isaac's not 100%, he had to miss a GP as well. He's thinking, if I could pass Jeffrey Hurlings and beat him at Lommel, that's like a career-defining moment, you know? That and $5, you get a cup of coffee, but still.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to sell a few more tickets for the Grand Prix in Sweden, Uddevalla, in 2 weeks' time. Anyway, let's go down to Lisa. She is with JK Racing Yamaha. We're going to talk about Isaac Gifting, of course. Here she is with Giuliano Boschi.
Giuliano, Isaac Gifting seems to be doing exactly what he did yesterday. He's getting the start, he's at the sharp end, clearly riding with that confidence now.
Yeah, let's say we got the start dialed in every weekend now. Now he's currently P4, he's battling with Hurlings, which is good. Still, we are halfway now, so still long, especially the last minutes will be tough, but we're very happy about it, so let's keep continuing like that.
Obviously, I don't want to speak too soon, but what would it mean for a privateer team like JK Yamaha to be on the podium?
Yeah, that would be great for sure, but at the moment we stay calm, but yeah, we hope that somehow it will happen someday, but yeah, we keep trusting.
Best luck to the team.
The yellow flags there were for Jeffrey Hurlings. He's crashed out of 3rd place. Did he crash on the left side or the right side? Are there going to be more implications for the Bullet here on his return back from injury? We will soon find out. Hopefully we've got the footage of that, but we saw the yellow flags through that little right-left flip-flop through turns 8 and 9. He's back on the bike, so everything is okay there, but we said that before when he got landed on. Watch this here. Comes in, buries the front around about, bottoms out and then over the bars. Needed every ounce of that upper body strength. Either way, that wasn't good for Jeffrey Hurlings. He picks himself up, rejoins the race in 8th place. Wow, even the King of Sand can make mistakes around his home soil.
Yeah, I was just happy to see him get up. Those type of crashes, you have a carbon that's not 100% yet, you don't know how that's going to react. Him to be back and racing and back on form, that's a good sign.
And talking to a couple of people down there and on Friday down at Red Bull KTM about him coming back, and they just said, you know, the risk is if there's a crash and, you know, there's more damage and things like that. But look at Håkan Fredriksson here. The 4.27, his first MXGP ride of the year. The privateer, again, mixing it. This guy was battling for European 250 titles 3-4 years ago. He's not had a good run in MX2 or any of the races with injuries and things like that. And here he is, just behind Jeffrey Herlings in 9th place. He's just found his way past the factory Yamaha of Maxime Renault, just as he did in the qualifying race yesterday, to bring it home in 10th place ahead of Renault in 11th. And Håkan Fredriksson of Norway looking very, very comfortable in white and blue around this Lommel circuit. Definitely suits the 450.
Yeah, he looks good. You can see by his line choice, kind of getting underneath the berms, trying to stay out of the main line. He just has a really nice flow. You know, that 10th yesterday, I think, was a pretty good indication for him. And he looks the part. That's the thing, right? It's not like he gets a great start and steadily moves backwards. He looks like he's just meant to be right here, right in front of Renault, like he was yesterday.
Oh, and Fredriksson just sides his way down the inside of a wounded Jeffrey Herlings, moves up a position into 8th place. We said this morning during morning warm-up, we were watching, we said he rode good yesterday in the qualifying race. Right, relax, P8, enjoy it. Easier said than done. It's not your average beach party here.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, surely he was sore after yesterday. He would have put more just load and work onto that shoulder than he's had, just in 2 training sessions leading in, and then a crash certainly doesn't help. So he's probably feeling the effects of it.
Well, a change of the lead. Yeah, no, Febvre, sorry, Coenen closing back in again, 1.7.
Yeah, and I think, you know, just like we talked about, regroup, get the heart rate back under control, and then try to mount a challenge later. And I think he did. Like, he tried to go for it early. We were wondering, would he be patient? Clearly he wasn't. He wanted to get to the front. Once he realized the pass wasn't there, I think he said, okay, I need to regroup a little bit here and save some for the last second half of this race.
13 minutes still to go, plus 2 laps. And when you look at those 2 laps being 2:05, 2:06 at the moment, they could lose another couple of seconds a lap between now and the next sort of, you know, 13 minutes. This one is just too close to call. Coenen just keeping himself in there, keeping Febvre honest.
You want to keep the pressure on too, right? It's a fine line between regrouping, dropping back a little bit, and also keeping pressure on the championship points leader.
Well, let's take a look at the start. The most crucial part. Febvre got a magic jump. Coenen got swamped here, look. Gifting ran everybody wide. There was an issue there for the 70 of Fernandez. One of the Fantics went down at the back, one off the side of the track as well, but it was...
Watch Febvre on this inside. You cannot execute a corner better than Febvre right here.
Yeah, look at that, just lays it down.
You can't do it any better than that.
Perfect for the foxhole shot there. He was helped by Gifting having a double stab.
Yep, but he was full slide, rear tires, you know, spinning and sliding, but it's really difficult. He didn't even have the whole shot necessarily. You just can't execute the corner better than that.
And here he is, looking very, very good and comfortable again. So I think of the 2 Fantics that were down on the deck, the one that was on the deck, Andrea Bonacorsi. Bonacorsi up to 11th now. Enjoying his time here in the sand, and he is about half a second behind Maxime Renault. Renault not having a good return here this weekend, has to be said.
So something I talk about with you know, James Stewart, Ricky Carmichael's pretty outspoken with this. So if you're Febvre in this, would you rather be sitting in the front, kind of having this rider stalking you, or would you rather be in Lucas Coenen's position, able to watch and let the race unfold from second place?
Both have their advantages, but I think in these kind of conditions, if you're leading the way, I think the pressure is on the guy to make. To up his pace, to then go for broke, to want that pass, to make it happen, you know, and that then comes with, it's that risk or reward, isn't it?
Right.
And especially if you're Romain Febvre, we don't know how comfortable he is there, and if he's got another second in the tank, you know, just manage this, and then, you know, the next couple of laps, inject a little bit of pace, and if Coenen goes with you, then we've got a race on, you know. But at the moment, both riders seem comfortable doing what they're doing, exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I don't think either of them are really taking big chances. If you look at their lap times, they weren't any quicker. Actually, Gifting was quicker than both of them, which would indicate they're resting here and letting the laps tick off, and then they're going to see who has what down the stretch.
Yeah, the first 4 riders all in 2 minute and 7 territory. Then we've got Van Donnek, Geerts and Koldenhoff and Fredriksson all in 2:08s. And you know, for Fredriksson, That's pretty impressive. Only 6 seconds off Coldenhoff. Coldenhoff just there in that corner. Here's Jago Geerts, the number 93. Over on that right-hand side. Good, solid ride in the qualifying race yesterday. Exactly the kind of thing he needs just to reboot his confidence in his season. Not easy to keep Coldenhoff behind you, though. Coldenhoff didn't make a great start. He's chipped away into 7th at the moment. Closing in on Geerts, I think, only ever so slightly. Again, it's that thing, isn't it? Same lap times, but a couple of tenths here, a couple of tenths there. All of a sudden, you're on the rear wheel and ready to pounce.
Really impressed by Van Donick here. This is strong. 5th place. Well, you called it yesterday. Said you expect a top 5 overall from him, but Coldenhoff, I think a lot of people had Coldenhoff pegged for a podium this weekend, and so far, both Geerts and Van Donick, excuse me, I think overperforming a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Van Donick did get a 4th in race 2 in Finland. That's where he really kind of upped the wick a little bit there. He got a 9th and a 4th. And in that respect, you know, that's kind of sowed the seed for him a little bit, just to remind him that he can do it. And that got him 6 overall there. So if he can do the same or go better, home round, home Grand Prix, you know, who knows what he can do in the next sort of 4 or 5 rounds before the season ends.
Put a smile on Jackie Martin's face.
Absolutely. Bit of a mistake there, though. Bounces offline, but recovers well. Jago Geerts gets closer to him. And Calvin Verlanderen all over the back of Gifting now.
See Lucas Coenen's father there in the foreground watching on.
Right, nothing in it between these two. And just like that, Febvre is injected pace, 206.9. Still 1.7 clear, 207. Remember the last lap, we had the first 4 guys in 207s. So Febvre, 206.9, Coenen, 207.4, Gifting, 209.7, Verlanderen, 208.5. And Jago Geerts deploys the Alpine Stars bodysuit.
Yeah.
And that's over the triple, I think.
That was heavy.
And that looks like a heavy landing for him. So Jago Geerts out of 6th place.
Anytime your jersey's torn, you have no visor, and there's dirt packed into your helmet, that's a heavy one.
Wonder if we have it. But Jago Geerts, what does the guy got to do to get a break? Solid yesterday. Easier said than done sitting here in the cheap seats, but inverted commas, all he needed to do was, you know. He's going to peg out, isn't he? There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Try to. Oh. Big hit for Jago Geerts. Tried to stay with the bike as long as possible. Couldn't get off. But he just ground out, bottomed out, and there was only one outcome there.
Comes pressure.
Pressure here for Romain Febvre. 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go.
We talked about it in the MX2 race. All of that racetrack is going to be foot peg dragging ruts.
Yeah.
We have approached that now.
As it goes on, and the jumps aren't really that kind of steep for that reason, you know. You get the distance, not necessarily the height, but Jago Geerts got a bit of both there.
That's a nice inside there.
It's a very nice inside. The gap now as they hit the line at the end of lap 11. A second between
Jago crashed on right there.
Romain Febvre and the 96 of Coenen. Both riders back in the 208s, but 3/4 of a second quicker Coenen that time around.
You see this kind of yo-yo effect, you know, it can be a mistake, it can be choosing to go an alternate line that doesn't really work, but you can gain or lose a lot of time very quickly on this racetrack.
Febvre had a nice line there as well, jumping longer, jumping beyond the actual the start of the downside on that monster jump there. So he went 1 hole further to Coenen. We know there's a horrible hole in the trees there because that's where Hurlings fell. Hurlings still circulating in 9th place. You don't really have a track like this at home, do you, in the US?
There's really nothing that has the depth of this sand. Plenty of sand tracks in Florida, they're everywhere, but the depth of this sand, the way that it forms, you just see how deep it is in some of those lanes that we don't really have necessarily that. The base would simply be harder.
It's considerably cooler here, though, than it is in Florida.
A tad bit, I would say about half the temperature.
Yeah.
Double the temperature, that's about what Florida is in August.
Working our way towards the end of lap 12. Coenen, this is where he made an attempt earlier on in the race. Outside inside was the option for these two corners here. He's getting himself close, lining himself up for another potential attack. If he's close enough out of this long sweeper, can he get the distance and the momentum on the wall jump? He's very, very close here. A bike length in it. He runs to the outside. He's going to set himself up for a single and a huge jump here. That's exactly what he does. Oh, he takes the lead. A magical moment for Coenen. Fans absolutely out of their seats if they were sat down. He has a moment there. Febvre tries to react. Coenen, wise above his years. In that moment there, he realised he made a mistake coming back onto the start straight. He had to react to that going through the first corner. And it's Coenen, the Belgian, who leads at home. Right, Febvre, let's see what you've got. That's exactly what he's got. Cleans him up the inside, off the side of the track. Febvre is not taking this one down. 4 minutes to go. This is what we came to see here in Belgium.
Yeah, that was a big response from Febvre. And both of them, just a flurry there, right? So you're probably going to see a little regroup here from Coenen. Try to, again, same thing we saw before, get his breathing under control, get the heart rate down. The problem is he only maybe has 4 to 5 laps left, so he can't let Febvre build a gap here.
And Febvre's responded first and quickest. He looks like he's the one that has more in the tank at the moment and the one that has been the most composed after that little onslaught.
Yeah, Lucas used a lot of energy to make that. You jump there 30 meters, you know, like you're going to use a lot of energy flatland, so he's got to try to recover quickly. This is where all that interval training comes in, is trying to get your body to answer the bell as quickly as possible.
Fascinating between these two. And Lucas Coenen now is going to take some of the twin brother gene, not knowing that a moment ago there was there was all that drama. You know what I mean? He's already delete.
Yeah. Well, you know,
comes back for more.
Yeah, and if I think if he hadn't made the mistake just past the mechanics,
yeah,
had stuck that line, he wouldn't have had to go defensive the next few corners, and maybe that had gone differently.
That was the pass.
But that's a hard landing. That takes a lot of energy. And then he completely fluffs this turn right here. Pushes
Came in too wide and then too long, and then. But this is a great response from Febvre. He already committed. Said, you know what? I'm getting out of here early. If we both go down, so be it. I'll make sure I'm the first to get up. But Coenen read it well. Ran himself off the track because he didn't want to get into that altercation. Back marker between them now. 2.5 minutes still to run. Mistake there from Coenen in the background coming out of that first turn. Is that his race run right there? That one mistake just pushing him over the edge, because the gap all of a sudden, probably as big as it has been for the last few laps. 2.1 seconds now. Is this the time to regroup and think about race 2 for Coenen, or do you go for broke? No, because you're still 2 minutes plus 2 laps, don't forget.
You're familiar with his brother's work, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see a back down for race 2 at this moment.
So the twin brother gene kicking in.
I think so. And, you know, he doesn't seem like on the edge to me. Like, he's pushing hard. They're both pushing incredibly hard. But I think he has the ability to close this back down. You see the intensity starting to come back to his riding. I just think he's going to have to do it pretty quickly. He doesn't have 10 minutes to regroup and formulate a game plan to get back there like he did before.
Starting to loosen things up a little bit here. Fans loving it, we're loving it. Hope you guys are at home too, but this one isn't done yet. You just have that feeling, don't you? There's going to be another little twist here in this first race. The good news is there's another race to come. And he is getting closer. Down to 2 seconds now, the gap. It was 2.8 a moment ago. Back markers are going to play their part on this, aren't they? Because you're going to get a few of them just, Tom already wrapped around the rear wheel, waiting for that checkered flag. Of course, there is an option where they can just pull in whenever they want, but they want to finish. That's part of the challenge of this racetrack. But when they start getting into the back markers here, these two, they make a wrong decision.
As crazy as it sounds, the next one is Jeremy Seward. You're talking about a race-winning guy who's, you know, a mainstay of MXGP is about to go a lap down.
Yeah, 21st place in the race on that Aruba.IT Ducati. Good, solid ride this for number 10, Calvin Villaren in that 3rd place. Here's how he made his way past Gifting to move into that 3rd place a moment ago. Cut to the inside. Look how he opened up that corner and swept through that inside.
Yeah, just got to where he knew gifting would be. That's such an underrated way to pass. You don't have to necessarily do anything other than if you know where someone is headed, if you can get there before they do, job done.
Look at that. Time has just ticked up now. The finish line is just over there in the background. So that's, okay, it wasn't close, but it was probably like 10 or 12 seconds close.
Yeah, Lucas lost a significant amount of time. You know, it's only a second, but he didn't, you know, it's 1.2 that he really couldn't afford to give. And now he's kind of lost the line of sight with Romain, which is a big deal with 3 laps to go.
Do you think we're seeing the difference as well between experience over youth in a 450 around a circuit like Lommel, where Lucas Coenen, yes, you can ride and train and you have the pace, but in those moments, in that situation, what Romain Febvre has over the last 10 years in this class just kind of was worth its weight in gold at that moment in time when there was that reaction, how quickly he reacted, how he dealt with it afterwards, and just having that sort of wherewithal in this 450 capacity, especially around here.
Well, yeah, I think it's being battle tested. You know, he's had to go toe-to-toe with Geiser and Cairoli and, you know, whoever, name it. He's had to go toe-to-toe with them in this very scenario. And I think also when we talked about who was saving energy, who was thinking about the last few laps, I think you've seen Romain, when he got the 3 laps to go, he's going. You see how hard he's pushing right here? He's trying to effectively end the race on this lap and break the will and the spirit of Lucas down the stretch.
What a great ride this has been for Håkan Fredriksson. He is now up into 6. Yeah, do not readjust your TV sets. Håkan Fredriksson in blue, up to 6, going after Glenn Coldenoff here on the Fantic Factory. Coldenoff in 5th. Fredriksson of Norway was thinking, Norway, am I going to throw this down right here? He almost did. It's a northern coming out of me. But he's still on 2 wheels, Håkan Fredriksson, in that 6th place. Great ride for him.
Yeah.
Good kid as well, actually. I spent a lot of time with him over the years when he was on the MX250 trail. Just talking to him here and there and stuff, but just been unlucky with, yeah, wrong place, wrong time, wrong injuries, that kind of thing. Just being sidelined. Maybe the odd team choice as well didn't help, but where he is at the moment, he looks like he's found a good home. And bizarrely, actually, I've just realised, yeah, he's on a Yamaha, back on a Yamaha, where his earlier success in the MX250 was coming from. So, looking good as he goes after Coldenoff here. Almost side by side. He goes for the sky jump. Coldenoff knows he's going to have to get over to the left-hand side a little bit, because otherwise he's going to get carved up here. Coldenoff coming in with 2 laps to go, thinking, I'd just like to ride this one out, but Fredriksson not letting him at all.
Respect for your elders, something? Yeah.
Yeah, Fredriksson saying, nah, you're right. Been brought up to respect no one. Febvre, 2.4 seconds clear of Coenen. Again, their gap still yo-yoing back and forth. It was 3-4 seconds, now it's back down to 2.4. Coenen with his best time in Sector 1, 32.1. In its best time in Sector 1, the track at its worst, and he goes fastest for him, 32.9 seconds in Sector 1, 33.
A little quicker again. Tell he's pushing again, so he regrouped, he found some energy.
There's the gap right there, look.
Yeah.
Febvre in green, Coenen around the outside.
I think this track just does that to you. You have to, you know, if you put in a crazy sprint lap or 2, you have to settle back down a little bit. It will only allow so much. There are very few humans that can sustain max effort on this racetrack for very long.
Yeah, heart rates through the roof, and they were spiking a couple of laps ago when that attempt came from Coenen, when he made that pass, and when Febvre came back, just said, you got a spike, you want to spike it a little bit more? Right, he started jumping longer now, just in case he might need it later on in the race. Or later on in the race weekend. But we're going into the final lap. Febvre about 2 seconds clear on the Kawasaki Racing Team machine. That factory Kawasaki there, barely a speck of dirt on him, because he's controlled this race from the front. Apart from that one moment of about 10 seconds where Coenen just got alongside and made that pass, until this moment here in this corner.
Lucas is full send at the moment.
Oh, he's just all in now on this final lap, thinking, right, if he switches off, I'm going to be right there. I'm going to make sure I'm right there, ready to pounce. Fans believe it as well. What do we say about sting in the tail, a twist before the race is done? It's less than 2 seconds now, this gap. That inside is the shortest route. Is it the quickest, though, in terms of how deep those holes are?
Febvre's really good through that last corner.
Oh!
That's it.
That's it. Game over.
Yeah, that'll be.
You can't have any more of those and expect to walk away from them.
Yeah.
Big moment here. Just catches an edge there. Look, again, bottoms out. Great reaction, though, to save it. Big moment. And that, I think, is going to be Febvre. Almost home and dry. But the gene coming back out again. Oh, 10-second Tom. No, never happened. Watch this. Bah! Wow. Very, very lucky.
A lot of core strength to hold that together there.
Yeah, up on the pegs. They would have seen it on the big screens around here as well and thinking, well, at least he's still up on 2 wheels and gives himself a chance. Even if it was a soft fall, 38 seconds they're clear of Flanders. That's the pace they've been pushing. But Romain Febvre, tell you what, you got to stand up and take a bow and sort of tilt the hat, chapeau.
Yep. And really both of them, you know, like Coenen put in a heroic effort there. He got a big warning sign to, hey, this is, you're over the limit. And that's when you see him kind of sit up and change complete to...
Takes a look over his shoulder.
You know, you have to relent. I think he understood that it's Febvre's race at that point.
Febvre realizing why it all went quiet on the final lap, and he's thinking, right, where did he go? He never fell because he would have seen him out the peripheral there. But Romain Febvre gets out of the final turn. He crosses a line. He wins race 1 here. And at Lommel, of all places, 7 wins now for the season. Celebrates in front of the Belgian fans in the hospitality, maybe just to sort of turn the needle a little bit more. Why would you? Why wouldn't you? Coenen, second. Good race between those two, the top 2 in the championship. The gap back out to 12 points. Romain Febvre still in control. This was him going past pit lane. He's thinking, you know what? Next race, let's do it again. Probably still thinks he's got enough in the tank to take the challenge to Romain Febvre. But that's what it's going to come down to now, as we head into race 2. Who's prepared the best, who's recovered the best, and the fitness levels between the 2 riders. Because physically, you know, technically, they're both very, very gifted around it. We've seen that. They absolutely obliterated the competition.
Think about defending champ Jorge Prado, not here. Jeffrey Hurling's injured. Tim Geiser, injured. You keep going down the list, and we still get a championship fight like we have. It's incredible.
I mean, it's been a breath of fresh air to the championship, no doubt about it. But Romain Febvre wins race 1. We'll do the official results when we get them. But Coenen second, Flanders third, Gifting, Coldenoff, Fredriksson. Coldenoff put a couple seconds in him in the end. Fredriksson 6, great ride. Van Donnick 7, Hurling's up to 8th with a move on Bonacorsi on the final lap. And Renault coming home in 10th, header Watson, Bogas, Brumman, Fernandez, Van der Moosdijk, Panzer, Talviku, Spies, Tomcock and Guadagnini. See, we're outside of the points, look. 21st place.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's been a difficult weekend overall for Jeremy Seaver.
Hopefully Jago Geerts is okay, and that big moment, because it was a big moment, has only maybe just shaken him up rather than anything else, because he was still on the bike almost at the point of impact, and the thing was just looping around on him, wasn't it? But just goes to show this racetrack can just bite at any given moment. Sector 3 on the final lap, Romain Febvre put in the fastest time of the race. He wins by 17 seconds over Lucas Coenen, and 7 wins now for Febvre. Here he is with Lisa.
Romain Febvre, congratulations. You got the start, you controlled your race, you had a nice battle there with Coenen, you did exactly what you needed to do, and you were really pushing there towards the end.
Yeah, I knew he's going to try everything. It's what I was waiting for. So finally got a good start, and then again, like when I had the start, then yeah, I can win the race. So it was good battle with Lucas. He passed me at once, but I was really attacking to pass him back, and then I did it. And I think the last lap he tried to come back, but he made a mistake. So happy to win that one. Yeah, I'm enjoying in the stand, honestly, so hopefully for a good second moto.
Is it important to respond immediately when he passed you?
Yeah, sure. So he don't have time to be on the front and be clean and ride this pace. So actually, it's why I did. I tried to pass him as quick as possible because I will break his rhythm again, and yeah, it's what happened. So happy of this one.
Good luck for the second race.
Yeah, great insight there. And great questions there, Lisa, as well. You know, just the, especially that follow-up question, was important to respond, and that's exactly what he did. He needed to get back in there, get under the skin, break the rhythm, stop him from establishing a gap at the head of the field and putting the pressure on Romain Febvre in that respect, Jason.
Yeah, and for Lucas, he had tried so hard to get the lead. When you get passed immediately back, it's a bit deflating. You know, all that work just feels like it was all for naught. So kudos to Febvre for understanding how important that moment was.
Just goes to show there's so much more goes into racing than just riding around and waiting for a result. Take a look at the highlights of the race. What a race it was. In the MXGP first race, a great start for Romain Febvre over on the right-hand side. He tucked himself around the inside, came out with a foxhole shot. Gifting ran a little bit wide. Few riders getting hung up as they dropped into turn 2. Gifting there in white in second. Herlings ran the outside in third. Coenen around about 7th, but it wasn't long before he got in the mix and was forcing his way through. Over on the left-hand side, by the time he got out of this turn, he was already up into 5th place behind Brent van Donnik. But it was Febvre who had a 9-point lead at the top of the championship coming into this race, who knew he needed to go. And all the pressure then was on Lucas Coenen. He made this move on Isaac Gifting to move into 3rd. That was at the end of the opening lap. He then got the better of Herlings in exactly the same way to move into 2nd a lap later. He then went after Febvre. Jeffrey Herlings out of 3rd with this big moment. He picked himself up and remounted. Eventually came home in 8th place. Wow, massive moment, massive impact for Jago Kids when he crashed out of 6th on the triple after the finish line area. Calvin Vlaanderen made his move on Gifting towards the end of the race as he launched his way into 3rd. That's where he would stay, but this was the battle that was on, off throughout the race. Coenen launched himself past Febvre to take over the lead. That was on lap 12. Febvre responded immediately. A couple of corners later, but there'd been a slight mistake from Coenen as well prior to that. But in the end, another mistake on the final lap allowed Febvre an easy cruise home. Febvre winning for the 7th time this year from Coenen, Vlaanderen, Gifting and Coldenhoff. What a race that was as well. Official results. Yeah, surprised we didn't see the moment there from Lucas Coenen through the trees on the final lap, because that was probably also right up there as one of the moments of the race.
Yeah, that's the risk of when you're on the limit. That's very close to going over the limit. So
but impressive from both.
It is. They're showing you what this track can handle and what it can't. I mean, that's how you win by 30 or 40 seconds.
So Romain Febvre winning race 1 then from Lucas Coenen, Calvin Vlaanderen and Isaac Gifting, Coldenhoff, Fredriksson. Fantastic ride in 6th for him. Van Donnik, Herlings, Bonacorsi and Maxim Renault. Then we had Ben Watson, Brian Bogers, Kevin Brumman, Ruben Fernandez, Rowan van der Moosdijk, Jan Panzer in the points, head of Jürgen Matthias Talviku, Max Spies, Tom Koch and Mattia Guadagnini, the lead Ducati. The other one was 21st, Jeremy Seewer. Not having a good time here.
Not ideal for the Italians.
Nah. Take a look at the foxhole shot then. I think by now we know that it was Romain Febvre, the 5th one of the season, turning it into 25 points as well, and he extends his lead at the top of the championship. Romain Febvre with 31 black plates now in his career, since the foxhole shot contest began anyway. Lucas Coenen with 11 though. Febvre now tied with Coldenhoff. Right, we're going to take a look at some of the best moments from that MXGP race before we take a break for the 1 hour. But so far, Jason Thomas, this Grand Prix has not disappointed, has it? Especially where these two are concerned.
Well, again, this is the toughest motocross racetrack on earth, so you're expecting some really difficult days. But I just think the performance from some of these guys, they make it look easy, and we both know it's far from that.
When someone like Jeffrey Herlings has a moment under the trees, as he did, then you also know that this place can bite at any time, no matter how much skill you have in and around there. That was Bonacorsi going down on the first turn there in the middle of the group. But composure from Febvre and Coenen, and maybe, just maybe, the experience kind of outweighing that youthful exuberance when it mattered.
Yeah, it's impossible to replace experience and understand what this race is going to mean at the very end. And yeah, Lucas is learning. Febvre kind of just showing that he's been here and done that before.
Well, 2 down, 2 to go here at Lommel. And so far, it's so good. We're going to take a break. Join us in an hour's time when we return with MX2 Race 2, and of course the big one, the finale, MXGP Race 2. From me, from Jason Thomas, from Lisa Leyland down there in the waiting zone, and the rest of the team. We'll enjoy our break. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.